overall, it was a very sort of disappointing opening night for Ferencváros, and they'll want to bounce back. And this being a home game, I think the fans and the atmosphere is going to be huge in the Groupama Arena. Ferencváros fans are known to be very vocal and very supportive. They're a raucous bunch, so yeah, they're going to be up for this 100%, and I think they'll be looking to sort of cause an upset here because Tottenham are the favourites. Hello, it's Bence Bocsák here. I'm a Hungarian football expert. I write and talk about Hungarian football a lot on my social media at Ben Bocsák, and I'm here to preview Ferencváros against Tottenham from a Ferencváros perspective. So, Ferencváros have made a good start in the domestic league this season, but that's to be expected. They are by far the best team in Hungary. I think PSG in France maybe is the closest. So Ferencváros is very dominant. They are expected to win the league title, and they usually do win it year after year. But their goal and their objective has always been to make it to the Champions League. Obviously, that didn't happen this year. They lost to Michelin and didn't go far in those Champions League qualification stages. So that was a big disappointment. So I think they'll start the season with a little bit of mixed emotions so far. But, it is still early days. There's a new manager in Pascal Janssen who only arrived in the summer, but he comes with a good pedigree of, working in the Netherlands and coaching some big teams like AZ Alkmaar. He's also someone who brings through a lot of young players, and I think fans are really excited to see that and what he can do. It's early days, so that he hasn't really proven himself that much, but there has been encouraging signs in terms of the football and some of the players coming in. So yeah, I think one of those players who I think Tottenham will sort of have to be wary of is Abafani. He's an Israeli international, one of the best sort of midfielders I've seen in Hungarian football. He can really dominate games, particularly in the domestic league, but he's done well in the European qualifications as well. He's not the tallest, but he's very dynamic, very tenacious. He can dictate the rhythm of the play. He's got great vision, technically very sound. He's a very sort of intense footballer as well. He can cover a lot of ground. So I'd keep an eye out on him in midfield. And the other one is sort of a new sensation. He's only just arrived at Ferencváros at the end of the summer. His name is Matheus Saldanha. He's a Brazilian forward. Went sort of viral at the weekend because he looks very much like Roberto Firmino, and a lot of social media accounts picked that up because he scored a hat trick in Ferencváros's last game before this Tottenham match. Yeah, he has 6 goals in 100 minutes of football played for the club this season. So that's an average of a goal every 16.16 minutes that he's on the pitch. He's a really exciting player. I don't think he's going to be in Hungary for long. I think he's got a future to be a sort of top 5 league player for sure. In terms of the previous game in the lead up to this one, it was a very disappointing sort of opening Europa League game against Anderlecht for Ferencváros. There was high hopes. Historically, it's a sort of game that has gone well for Ferencváros in the past. But this time around, I think they were dominated by the Belgian side. Um, it was only in sort of the last 10 or so minutes when Anderlecht got a red card that Ferencváros sort of started to show a bit of promise, show a bit of sort of excitement going forward. Obviously, Saldana came on; he didn't start the game, and I spoke about how exciting he is as a player, and he definitely posed a little bit of a threat. But overall, it was a very sort of disappointing opening night for Ferencváros, and they'll want to bounce back. And this being a home game, I think the fans and the atmosphere is going to be huge in the Grupo Arena. Ferencváros fans are known to be very vocal and very supportive. They're a raucous bunch, so yeah, they're going to be up for this 100%, and I think they'll be looking to sort of cause an upset here because Tottenham are the favourites. I really like Ange Postecoglou. I've been really impressed, I think, with the way he's settled into English football. Obviously, it's a long-term project at Tottenham, but I think right now we've got a great momentum going on. The victory at Manchester United. There's a lot of exciting young players at the club, and yeah, I think you've got to be one of the favourites for the Europa League alongside um, Tottenham. I mean, obviously Tottenham, but alongside Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt, they've got a big home support, and they obviously went quite far in the competition a couple of years ago. I put probably Galatasaray in this as well, just because they got Victor Osimhen and they're a really exciting team. So I would say those three are probably my top three favourites in terms of being able to win the competition in this sort of strange new format, but almost from a Ferencváros perspective, it's better. You get bigger games, more games, and you get opposition like Tottenham, and you get to test yourself against the sort of, I would say, elite level football teams in European football, which maybe wasn't the case before in previous Europa League groups. But yeah, for Ferencváros, until they're in the competition, this is going to be top priority. They want to do well. Like I said, they're expected to win the league, so the league almost becomes sort of second interest during the autumn period. So they will go very strong. I think the same team that started against Anderlecht will probably start, maybe with the exception of Saldana, because he is such an exciting player. He is the go-to, I think, when it comes to the forward line now, even though they Ferencváros also have Barnabas Varga, who is a Hungarian international and scored loads of goals last season. Picked up a horrific injury at the Euros. So he hasn't quite bounced back since that injury. And maybe that's why I think Saldana could probably start this game. Ferencváros will be defensive. They're not going to go all out. They are going to try and catch Tottenham out on the break. I think they're going to try and frustrate Tottenham. And I think it's going to be up to sort of Postecoglou to sort of try and break that rigid defense down. In terms of this game, I'm actually surprised there hasn't been that much talk about Tottenham coming here as I expected. I think it's because Ferencváros have sort of been used to playing in Europe for the last 5 years. They've been in the Champions League. They played Barcelona. They played Juventus. So they've had some real big opponents come to Hungary and face up against Ferencváros. So perhaps because of that, the hype isn't as great for Tottenham. But I still think, the crowd and the team is going to be 100% up for it. Like, this is the kind of game that you want to play as a footballer and where you want to be tested. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In terms of my match prediction, I think, I'm hoping it's going to be a draw and Ferencváros can get a good result, maybe a sort of 2-2 draw, because I think both teams like to score goals. So yeah, I'll go with a 2-2 draw. And yeah, if you're interested in Hungarian football, yeah, do check out my Twitter account.